from Beck Technologies, and you're watching the first episode of Make Your Own. Now, I know a lot of you guys out there have been wanting to make your own stuff, but you've either been afraid of buying bad equipment, not knowing what the equipment's capable of, or that it's not going to do the job you need, or maybe you haven't had shop classes in high school, and you really don't even know where to begin. So the goal of this episode and the show in general is to kind of teach you guys what's out there, what's available, what the different tools can do, and some of the things you can build with them, and to just generally inspire you guys to make your own stuff and save a lot of money in the process. I know a lot of the time trying to buy stuff is extremely frustrating because you can't afford what's really well built and useful, and you're either stuck with buying cheap import stuff that is just a total waste of money and breaks down and doesn't do the job it's supposed to anytime, even when it's brand new, or you're stuck not having anything at all. So I just want to show you guys that it is possible to start out with a few tools and be able to just progressively build upon them and expand your collection and be able to make your own stuff. And by making a lot of your own equipment and a lot of your own tools and tables and stuff like that, you save a considerable amount of money, which you can then reinvest in some good tools and some of the stuff that you think you can't afford. So basically, each show we're going to be going over a couple tools and starting off with the basic tools, and then each episode get progressively more and more advanced in different kinds, and each episode will be building a project with the tools, and each episode will also get more complex and complex, so that like the first episode, we're going to be making a stand for this chop saw here, and more into the series we'll be building like go-karts and engines and all kinds of awesome fun stuff like that, and also doing a few just purely fun projects here and there, like knife making, sword making, just random fun stuff. Okay, so we'll start off with the tools. This here is a chop saw, and this here is a Mig Welder. Now when you want to build your own stuff, you're looking into metalworking, which is the majority of what I do, you basically need a way to cut metal and a way to weld the metal together to make the parts. Now there's a number of ways you can cut the metal. You can either have a sawzall if you already have one. That's not recommended though. Chop saw is cheap, it's fast, you can cut literally anything with it because you have this abrasive blade, so even if you're trying to cut through hardened tool steel, it will just grind right through it. And another option is a bandsaw, but I would not recommend a bandsaw to beginners because they're hard to maintain, they're more expensive. You cannot cut the hardened steels without having extremely expensive tool steel cutting belts, or blades rather. So for about $200 you can get a really nice chop saw. This is a DeWalt chop saw. I like the DeWalt tools because they're really rugged, they're made very nicely, and they have a lot of nice features. Now when you're looking at a chop saw, a lot of them have tables that the back piece is bolted in place. That's something you want to avoid. And they also have the blades held on by basically a little bolt, and that's something you want to avoid because the majority of the time that you spend cutting things with a chop saw is going to be screwing around with changing that bolt in the back to change the table angle and replacing the blades. I mean, this is just a huge waste of time if you have to go in there and screw around and like try to hold it all and get it undone. So this chop saw has a lot of nice features. It has this toolless blade removal, which basically has like a locking wing nut almost that you can just unscrew and the abrasive blade pops off. You pop a new one on, screw it down. It's a 2-minute job instead of like a 15-20 minute hassle. Also, the back of the table, it not only tilts and has a quick release, but you can also slide it all the way forward or back, and that is a huge plus because the ones that are just bolted down, say if you're trying to cut something 4 inches wide and the blade's wearing down, if you can't move this back farther to adjust so that that piece is in the center of the blade when it comes down, then the part's going to be too far forward and you're not going to be able to cut it. So something like this is really useful because if you have something odd shaped or really wide, you can compensate for it. And changing the angle is quick. You just lock it down, it's locked down. And this screws forward to clamp the piece in. So that is going to save you countless amount of hours in hassle. So, I mean, this is a little bit more expensive than the other brands, not by a lot. For $50 more, you get so much better results, and just saves you so much time in the long run. So that's, I definitely recommend chop saw, and specifically the DeWalt. Now the only thing I don't like about it is that, well, they made it as light as possible to be able to take to the work site. Everything is heavy duty except the table. It's a little bit flimsy if you're cutting really big heavy stuff, but what we're going to be doing tonight is making a stand for it and having it bolt to the stand, which will basically eliminate any heavy duty issues because it'll basically be a lot more rigid and you won't have any flexing. Okay, so now once you're able to cut the metal to the shapes you want, like have miter cuts and just random sizes that you need, you're going to need some way to connect them together, and a Mig Welder is definitely the best way to start out, especially if you've never welded anything before in your life. You can get a good MIG wire feed welder, I mean a decent one. I'm not talking about like heavy duty fabrication quality, but a nice little unit like this for around anywhere between $250 and $300, and this will get you started very nicely. Now it's important to get something that's actually a MIG welder and not just a wire feed welder. What a wire feed welder is basically it uses the self-shielding flex cord wire, which produces a lot of smoke, a lot like arc welding. So you'll just be having like billowing plumes of smoke coming off whatever you're welding. And that's not really ideal. It makes a huge mess and it's just really nasty and you need a lot of ventilation. So what the MIG does is it has a little tube in the back that you can connect a inert gas cylinder, like an argon cylinder or an argon CO2. And that will shield the wire so you don't get those huge amounts of smoke. It doesn't really produce any smoke except unless like the thing you're welding has a little bit of oil on it. And you get really nice results. The MIG welder is a very quick way to weld things, and it's very easy. Once you basically adjust your amperages, the basic units have essentially 4 amperage ranges, so that's very easy, and you also have a wire feed control speed.